Hello, hello. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is everybody there? Alright, looks like we're live. Hi everyone, this is Philip Kripe for Hashed Out, the daily crypto news show with Cryptopolitan. It's the 11th of August, and it's a Friday, so hopefully you're looking forward to a good weekend. That's all I can say about that. On that end, we're going to see a lot about what's been happening since yesterday around this time. It's been a crazy week with a lot of ups and downs, a lot of regulatory twists like we saw yesterday with France changing their things to fit more in with the new European MiCA standards. Good morning everyone from Santiago Sun. Nice to have you with us. And yes, good morning to everyone in the Americas. Good afternoon to everyone in Europe. And good evening to everyone in Asia and Oceania. Hey, hi. Nice to have you with us. Hello, Delabase, or Delabas. Nice to have you with us. I've seen your name before, and I remember it because I wasn't sure how to pronounce it then. I'm not sure if you're going for bass or bass. Hi, Binance user B7BAB. Nice to have you with us. Just nice to see you guys jumping in as we prepare to go through the news. All right, so let's go through and let's start with India. India plans crypto integration in domestic web browsers for secure document signing. We saw something similar to this yesterday with Nigeria setting up using blockchain to safeguard certificates for people that were doing their obligatory civil service. So the Indian ministry plans to incorporate crypto tokens into a new web browser, enhancing document signing and secure transactions. While advocating for global crypto regulations, India's Reserve Bank supports CBDC, central bank digital currency, but opposes conventional crypto legalization. Mateway's open competition seeks a browser with advanced features emphasizing data privacy and Web3 support. So the Indian Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, also known as Mateway, I guess, has unveiled its intention to integrate crypto tokens into an upcoming domestically developed web browser. This strategic move aims to facilitate the digital signing of documents, thereby enhancing secure transactions and digital interactions within the Indian market. The announcement, which coincides with the launch of the Indian Web Browser Development Challenge, IWBDC, signals India's foray into harnessing the potential of cryptocurrencies while concurrently advocating for global regulations as the G20 president. Underlining its commitment to cutting-edge technology and bolstering security, they've initiated this challenge for a new web browser, an open competition to foster the creation of a web browser tailored to the Indian landscape. So we'll see the allocated funds of approximately $400,000 for the competition testify to the government's commitment to promoting innovation within the country's tech ecosystem. The July 1st, 2024 deadline sets a clear time frame for aspiring developers to contribute their ideas. It's giving me ideas. Yes. All right. Let's see what else is going on. So by July 1st, 2024, there should be a new Indian browser. Top crypto platforms to watch out for in the second quarter of 2023. Pay attention to GambleFi. That's interesting. So with constant evolution in the crypto space, DeFi developers have set a bar with these projects in the second quarter of 2023. GambleFi is the new frenzy in the crypto space, with projects such as Rollbit and FunToken taking precedence. We did see Rollbit have a big price increase, I believe, on their cryptocurrency yesterday when we were looking at that at the end of the show. So, GambleFi is a new trend of decentralized gambling sites and currencies that use blockchain technology and smart contracts. GambleFi's mission is to provide value and fun to crypto users that enjoy gaming, Simultaneously, it promises to alleviate some of the shortcomings and limits of existing gambling systems. In the initial months of 2023, the GambleFi narrative has grown in popularity. Crypto gaming and blockchain-based casinos have been around for a long time. Crypto casinos, for example, are older than DeFi itself. However, there is renewed interest in decentralized options in this field. One of GambleFi's most creative features is its rebate system for participants that produce a particular amount of turnover. Although this is a good perk for players, normal casinos also provide rakeback and loyalty programs. To promote fairness, transparency, and security, GambleFi used decentralized protocols and smart contracts. This can be a serious issue in the gambling sector. Online casinos might quickly fail, taking their customers' deposits with them. GambleFi has significant development and innovation potential within the blockchain gaming industry. However, its success is highly dependent on how rapidly and effectively problems can be addressed and resolved. So, examining the particulars of the unfolding GambleFi crypto Twitter controversy, it is evident that the situation was precipitated by a confluence of distinct factors. Due to the growing influence and adoption of digital assets, this incident gained widespread attention. However, the situation was exacerbated by the delicate balance of public sentiment, insights, and concerns regarding cryptocurrencies. So let's talk about Rollbit real quick here. Rollbit enables users to trade tokens with a 1000x leverage and provides sports betting, arcade activities, and tokenized jackpot. Rollbit platform data indicates that over $2.5 billion worth of crypto futures were traded in the last 24 hours. That's crazy. The announcement that Rollbit would acquire and burn its RLB tokens daily based on platform revenue caused a 63% price increase. This was yesterday, by the way. Hello, Makicino. Nice to have you with us. So, also Fun Token is an iGaming token that operates on the Ethereum blockchain. It provides iGaming ecosystems with quick, fair, and transparent transactions. It ensures trustworthy gaming environments by using blockchain technology. Fun Token, which is backed by the prominent Bitcoin faucet freebitco.in, so free Bitcoin basically, seeks to make non-custodial gaming the industry standard. The Fun Token XFun token on the Polygon blockchain is more efficient and cheaper than Ethereum. This new technology enables zero-cost, low-latency transactions on the blockchain. Fun Token is actively collaborating with major operators to expand the content available to its customers. Fun and XFun is the premier gaming token due to its access to a sizable Fun Token community and a swift and efficient token. Decentral Games. Decentral Games Casino is the first casino in the metaverse. As you play this game from the convenience of your own home, you will experience the excitement of blackjack, roulette, and cash poker. Enjoy immediate, secure, and fee-free payouts. The Decentral Games DAO owns and operates the Decentral Games Metaverse Casino. The Decentral Games DAO is a group of community members whose mission is to enroll millions of users into the metaverse. So we're just going over some of the GambleFi places out there. It's interesting to me that this is becoming a bigger and bigger thing since play-to-earn games have kind of flattened out. This seems like a way to kind of try to reuse that concept, but with the gambling aspect. So the company, basically the casino never loses money, right? So theoretically, unless they do something wrong. Well, let's see how these guys do it. Community members who hold XDG tokens govern the Decentral Games treasury and help shape the future of proposing and voting on new game features, modifications to the game settings, and a variety of other important decisions. Decentral Games builds Ice Poker, the first metaverse native play-and-own poker game that gives players economic freedom through self-custody and delegation of wearables. Then we have Senko Game Corp. DMT is a digital currency that runs on the Arbitrum platform. It is a 30M MC poker game built by Senko Corp. Milady, currently on Arbitrum. The current supply of Senko Game Corp tokens is 1 million, with none in circulation. The last known price of Senko Game Corp was $46.87, representing a decrease of 12.20% over the or $12.20 over the past 24 hours. WinR protocol is a fully autonomous liquidity and incentive infrastructure on WinR chain explicitly built for on-chain games, requiring a counterparty asset vault. It's different for developers, investors, and players. Here's how. For developers, you can build your games using the WinR protocol smart contract game engine, propose your game to the WinR DAO, incentivize your players with vWinR emissions, be a part of a growing ecosystem of games built on chain, and be a part of a vibrant dev ecosystem. On the other hand, players get each game is played and settled immediately on chain through immutable smart contracts. Incentives are immediately paid on each transaction. Transparent incentives. Promotions are rewarded on chain with no hidden leaderboards and no jackpots that never get distributed. Decentralized oracles generate random numbers with no tampering. And for investors, mathematically protected edge for your liquidity, on-chain incentives to drive volume, autonomous and decentralized reserves with no ownership. Fascinating. So there's a lot going on at Gamplify. And as always, we'll see how that goes. Hi, Salim Hamidyov and Giberon. Nice to have you with us. Apple earns favorable Supreme Court ruling against Epic Games. Apple has earned a temporary ruling granted by the Supreme Court against Epic Games. App Store rules remain intact as the legal tussle continues. In a significant twist in the prolonged legal clash between Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, and tech giant Apple, a U.S. Supreme Court justice has intervened to temporarily suspend a ruling from the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. The move provides Apple with the opportunity to appeal the decision to the highest court and enables the company to uphold its current App Store regulations, which restrict iOS apps from offering users access to external payment methods or marketplaces. The postponement, initiated by Justice Selina Kagan, offers Apple an extension to file its appeal without the immediate implementation of the Ninth Circuit's judgment. While Kagan did not furnish a reason for the delay, this respite grants Apple time to present its case before the Supreme Court. The Ninth Circuit's ruling issued in April found Apple in violation of California's unfair competition law by disallowing iOS apps to present users with alternative payment options beyond the company's proprietary in-app purchase mechanisms. This setup permits Apple to retain a substantial 30% share of all transactions processed through its platform, though the appellate court mandated that Apple must permit developers to establish links to external websites. It simultaneously upheld Apple's right to sustain its contentious 30% in-app purchase fee. This outcome marked a partial victory for Epic Games, a staunch critic of Apple's App Store policies, which had previously witnessed the removal of its Fortnite iOS app from the store. So we're seeing this more and more, and we're going to see this as well with potentially with Windows OS and like the Windows operating system. It's there's a Windows Store currently. There's the iOS App Store. There's the Play Store on Android. And what's happening right now is there's a trend for these companies, so Apple, Google, and Microsoft, to want to make it so you have to buy every single app through these stores, and they get a cut of everything that's sold through these stores. And in this case, it's 30% for Apple, which is pretty huge. It makes it difficult for the app creators. Theoretically, if you're a small app creator and you lose 30% of your first year revenue, it might be the difference between having income and not having income, basically. So that's quite a big difference. So, yeah, what do you guys think? I haven't seen much discussion about this on Binance Live specifically, or on Binance Feed either. Kind of curious. Haven't seen much discussion on YouTube either for this. So, right platforms narrows losses and an improved second quarter performance. The Colorado-based Bitcoin mining company Riot Platforms has reported a significant reduction in its net loss for the second quarter of 2023, marking a positive turn in its financial performance. The firm's strategic efforts to ramp up Bitcoin production and enhanced hash rate capacity contributed to this improved outlook. Oh, hi, Domino 741. Nice to have you with us again. Why is Japan in the middle of US-China rivalry? Japan is a central figure in the growing US-China rivalry. Japan, the historical titan of the East, now finds itself caught in the midst of a modern-day superpower showdown between the US and China. Both the Pacific giants view Japan as a pivotal player in their global chess match, yet Japan's stance remains as enigmatic as ever. What's behind this intense spotlight on Japan? Historically, the US and Japan have been firm allies, tied together by mutual interests and shared visions. Yet this alliance has never been more important than in today's fraught international climate. With China's rise as a global superpower, the US sees Japan not just as an ally, but an indispensable player or partner. The recent synchronicity of their national security documents reflecting mirrored global perspectives only reinforces this bond. But it's not all rosy. The Biden administration, despite its overt gestures of camaraderie, knows there are differences, but these seem minute against the larger backdrop of a shared objective. However, this isn't just about diplomatic documents. Leaders with their unique blend of vision and charisma often hold the key. The current Japanese Prime Minister Kishida has seemingly ramped up this US-Japan synergy, but is it just a reflection of his leadership, or is there a deeper, more grassroots alignment at play? Yet as the US woos Japan, the dragon of the East is not silent. China's economic and strategic prowess is undeniable. The use of economic tools for political gains, whether it's leveraging rare minerals against Japan or targeting Australia over statements about COVID's origin, shows a clear modus operandi. China's recent shift from coercing countries to targeting companies further complicates the matrix. Yet for every coercive move China makes, there's a counter-move often orchestrated in the boardrooms of Washington or Tokyo. With every move China makes, Japan's position becomes more precarious. On one hand, there's the allure of the vast Chinese market, and on the other, the security umbrella and historical ties with the US. This dichotomy, however, isn't just a game of trade and alliances. The recent flare-up in rhetoric, especially when Japan collaborates with South Korea, hints at the deeper, more strategic underpinnings. China sees this trilateral collaboration as a direct challenge, potentially a strategic encirclement. So where does Japan go from here? Japan's participation in NATO meetings, bridging the transatlantic and the Indo-Pacific provides a hint. This isn't just about military might or economic clout. It's about shrinking distances, building bridges, and ensuring that the two of the world's most influential regions see eye to eye. And as Russia and North Korea throw their hats in the ring, Dato's focus on the G7 meeting in Hiroshima becomes all the more crucial. Now it would be naive to see Japan merely as a pawn in this great game. The land of the rising sun has always charted its course, often with astute diplomacy and visionary leadership. Whether it's handling China's economic coercion or aligning with the US's strategic goals, Japan remains a force to be reckoned with. Yet the crux remains, in this era of global realignment, can Japan retain its unique identity and carve out a role that's neither subservient to the US nor antagonistic to China? Let's watch and see. And China's gotten much closer to South Korea, which has been pretty impressive as far as their diplomatic ties and economic ties. And with Taiwan as well, or the Republic of China, under its official name. So the SEC reveals intention to appeal court decision in XRP lawsuit. We saw this yesterday. We'll see how that goes right now. Until they actually do it, we'll keep track of how that's going, but I'm not going to read that article. China has a deflation dilemma. Is there a way out? It's a good question. Because after COVID, they didn't have the massive buying boom that other countries had. The recent stirrings in the economic cauldron have all eyes on China as the nation navigates its way through a troubling deflationary period, with the world's second largest economy seemingly teetering on the brink. The global implications are hard to ignore. So the burning question remains, can China find a way out of its deflation quagmire, and what could this mean for the rest of the world? And the reason we look at like macroeconomic situations, like what's Japan doing economically, what is the Federal Reserve doing in the U.S., what is the Chinese government doing, and all these different kind of political things and economic things, is these do have an effect on how crypto is traded around the world, and which countries are going to be mining more Bitcoin or selling Bitcoin and things like that. And all the regulations that come from these governments as well have a big impact. Hi, Kevin Skywalker. Nice to have you with us again. So that's why we're looking at these. So China's downturn is evident from the widening gap between the value of its exports and the declining prices. What this suggests is a desperate move to buoy exports by slashing prices. With such drastic measures in play, the bigger concern is whether China's deflationary tactics might spill over, casting a deflationary shadow over the U.S. For those anticipating a challenge in U.S. inflation rates stabilizing, China's pricing maneuvers might just provide the relief needed. The U.S. doesn't really need help in that regard, so that's interesting to think about. Could the U.S. actually end up deflationary? They could just lower the interest rates and have a massive economic boom in the U.S. if the lower prices in China have an effect on the American economy. Interesting. Given the historical dance of inflation rates between China and the U.S., there's reason to believe that these two giants are more interlinked than they might seem. U.S. imports from China have gone down, and U.S. exports to China have gone down. So the economic link is being lessened and potentially severed if things keep going in this direction. So not as linked as they were, even recently, even a few months ago. It was more linked than it is now. Ed Giardini, a respected name in research, reminds us of the synchronized sway in consumer inflation rates both nations experienced before the world was halted by the pandemic. And like I was saying, the trade between the two has drastically shifted. So if history serves as any precedent, once the pandemic anomalies are ironed out, we might just see this relationship revived. On the flip side, experts like Thierry Wisman from Macquarie believe that the Federal Reserve might actually view China's deflationary phase with a hint of optimism. If China's economic lull helps keep global inflation in check, particularly in the US and Europe, it would mean global supply chains would face less pressure from China's demand. This perspective could perhaps explain the Federal Reserve's softer stance since their last meeting in July. Whew, it's really hot in here. I'm just melting. It's okay. Deflation, silver lining. However, let's not don rose tinted glasses just yet. Paul Donovan from UBS Global Wealth Management brings in a necessary reality check pointing out the localized nature of consumer inflation, drawing a direct parallel between the economic behaviors of the affluent US and the booming, but not quite there yet, China might be a stretch too far. So there are a few things going on in China. People didn't start buying a lot again after COVID. Production took off because they were allowed to go to work again. So you end up with a lot of supply and very little demand, like a lot of goods waiting to be sold and a lot of, like, not as many people interested in buying them. So you end up with this is where the invisible hand, when you talk about economics and Adam Smith, comes into play, where the price is going to move based on the market. So prices are going to go down. So you end up in a deflationary situation, which also means that salaries aren't going to go up until this is resolved, because companies aren't making more money, they're making less on the same products. And they aren't selling as many products. So they're making even less than they would if they were just selling the same amount of products for less money. So there's a problem there. They aren't exporting as much as they were, and even their internal market isn't buying as much as they were. And that's going to be a problem for a little bit, at least. The last country that had a problem like this was Japan, and apparently that problem lasted 20 to 25 years. China responds to Biden's investment restrictions. Okay. China criticizes Biden's move to restrict U.S. tech investments. The order targets semiconductors, quantum computing, and specific AI technologies in China, Hong Kong, and Macau, which are all under China's control, so that doesn't change anything there. Beijing accuses the U.S. of economic coercion and technological bullying. Says the country that wants to invade Taiwan. Okay. China has boldly come forward, openly criticizing the Biden administration's recent endeavors to curtail U.S. investments in the technological sphere in China. With the ink barely dry, Biden's executive order targeting specific technologies in areas such as semiconductors, quantum computing, and certain realms of artificial intelligence in China, Hong Kong, and Macau provoked a swift and stern backlash from the Asian giant. So far they've just said things. Let's see. The implications for businesses, both Chinese and American, are palpable, with the Chinese embassy suggesting that the order could dent confidence in the U.S. business environment. It's worth asking what's the end game here. So, if the U.S. stops helping China set up weapons that they can use against Taiwan, it will probably help American consumers trust their economy more. So, that's not really going to change much for the U.S. It also means more investment money in the U.S. for the U.S. rather than in the U.S. for China. So, pretty straightforward there. Binance Labs invests $5 million in CRV, supports Curve BNB chain deployment. Wow. Binance Labs, the venture capital division of the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, which is Binance. We're on Binance Live, so you all know Binance. Has recently pledged a substantial investment of $5 million into the Curve DAO token, CRV. As part of this joint effort, Curve is actively considering extending its presence onto Binance's BNB chain, as conveyed in Binance's official blog posts. So Curve had some issues recently, so it's good to see. Curve recently sent the DeFi market diving after falling victim to a hack that resulted in a loss exceeding $70 million. That's the issue I was talking about. So, Curve may be on the mend with all of this this help, paying off debts and getting help from Binance Labs and so forth. That's pretty good. Investors caught in the middle of Biden's tech restrictions. We're just talking about this, about the Chinese thing. Investments in China's tech sector have plummeted this year. The U.S. is focusing on protecting national security and may tighten measures. Yes, how is this bad for American investors? The drop from $6.1 billion to a mere $815 million this year is not just a statistic. It's a bold testament to the escalating wariness and anxiety among investors. So that's the line in acquisitions of Chinese companies by U.S. investors. And this isn't just about U.S. investors' second thoughts. Beijing's intensified regulatory clampdown on private businesses has left fund managers worldwide reassessing their portfolios, with many turning their backs on the yuan. The fact that dollar-based funds are finding it increasingly challenging to root for China's tech sector speaks volumes about the crumbling investor confidence. Well, they've been... It feels like, if you look at it from an American point of view, that China's been using American money and investors to fund this whole military buildup in order to expand and take over neighboring countries that are friendly to the United States. So why would the U.S. continue to basically scam themselves by supporting this? So it makes sense that American investors aren't really interested in investing in China as much as they were when it seemed like Hong Kong was doing the like one China, two systems policy system well, which that was never going to last if you understand the history of the Chinese Communist Party. Elon Musk in trouble over Trump Twitter records. What did he do? Elon Musk's acquired platform X, formerly Twitter, fined $350,000 over delay in providing Trump's account records. The request was part of a Department of Justice investigation into disruptions post-2020 elections, and the January 6 Capitol breach. X tried challenging a gag order that prevented public discussion of the warrant, citing First Amendment rights. Elon Musk's recent acquisition. So that's interesting. Earlier this year, X received a clandestine search warrant from the U.S. Department of Justice. This was part of a broader probe examining potential disruptions to the peaceful transition of power following the contentious 2020 elections and the infamous January 6 Capitol incursion led by Trump's advocates. The directive from the Department of Justice explicitly sought records and data from Trump's @real Donald Trump handle, which had served as his digital bullhorn, projecting his voice directly to millions. However, in a turn of events, X allegedly missed the stipulated timeline, furnishing only a partial set of records by the deadline. The delay, as it turns out, wasn't just due to oversight or inefficiency. X attempted to challenge a gag order that stifled its ability to speak about the warrant publicly, claiming it violated their First Amendment rights. A subsequent lower court verdict articulated that alerting Trump prematurely could jeopardize the integrity of the ongoing investigation. They feared it might grant Trump an undue advantage, including potential destruction of evidence or altering behavioral patterns. While Musk's X grappled with legal complexities, internal tremors within the company were evident. Musk, whose acquisition of the platform amounted to a whopping $44 billion last October, instituted significant workforce reductions, slashing numbers from 7,500 to approximately 1,500. Such massive cuts, especially in compliance personnel, have set off alarm bells among global regulators. Musk's decision to reinstate Trump's Twitter account post its suspension due to the January 6 disturbances was another bold move. Trump, however, hasn't taken the bait yet. Instead, he's channeling his energy into Truth Social, a competing social platform that he's a co-founder on. Donald Trump remains in the eye of a legal hurricane. The former president faced arraignment on multiple charges, including allegations of conspiring to defraud the U.S. and obstructing a government process. The charges stem from the second case filed by the special counsel Jack Smith's office. Smith, a choice appointee of U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland, has been pivotal in spearheading investigations involving Trump. His legal woes don't end there. Earlier in April, the Manhattan District Attorney slapped him with charges related to falsifying business records. Not one to be silenced, Trump continues his narrative of being the victim of political vendetta. His stance is clear. All these legal tussles are nothing more than a politically motivated witch hunt. His words. Let's see. Hi. Malik 4800, Binance user 6D4AB, Seki47, anonymous user 671BB, Darkma, Binance user 8A46F, Brenda Lee, Jibarmunia86, hello. Hi, Binance user 511 2B, BNB 1924BZ, nice to have you with us. Abuadam 19 and Vidu06 Mole Cell, nice to have you with us as well. So, this whole Twitter thing is strange as well. Not sure what to make of that. It seems like they were in the middle of switching teams when they were required to send the information at the same time. The strategy to Binance's slow exit from Europe. Binance appears to retract from Europe, but it's strategic. Regulatory pressures from US and EU are intensifying. MiCA regulation promises unified crypto licensing in the EU. So, yes. So, Binance has pulled out of several countries in the EU, including Belgium, the Netherlands, Cyprus. I believe it had problems in France as well, and the Netherlands. Binance's seemingly shrinking European footprint is not merely an act of surrender, but possibly a move to gear up for MiCA's game changer. The platform remains active in countries like France, Italy, Lithuania, Spain, Poland, and Sweden. And while they may have retracted applications from certain jurisdictions like Germany and Austria, their broader goal remains clear: to position themselves for MiCA. MiCA is the European Union regulations that should pretty much replace all of the national regulations in the EU for cryptocurrency related platforms. RBI survey shows households anticipate prices moderating over next 3 months. The latest Reserve Bank of India survey shows that Indian households anticipate a decrease in inflation over the upcoming months. Households also hold expectations of enhancements in the overall economic landscape, employment opportunities, and income scenarios. Let's see, we'll have more information in here about this. The seasonally adjusted CU remained unchanged at 74.1% in the March quarter. In comparison to the December quarter and the equivalent year ago period, manufacturing business reports reportedly got more new orders in the quarter. I'm not seeing a lot of... Since May 2022, India has implemented a series of rate hikes amounting to an increase of 250 basis points to mitigate the rapid escalation of prices. In a recent move, the central bank has taken a temporary measure by raising the mandatory cash reserve that banks need to maintain. This adjustment is anticipated to induce upward pressure on short-term interest rates within the market. Okay. What U.S. inflation data for July tells us. Right now, it's a lot of economics that we're looking at today. U.S. inflation in July mirrored June's 0.2% rise. Annual inflation rate increased to 3.2% from the previous 3%. Core inflation remained high, making the Federal Reserve cautious. July's CPI data may ease pressure on the Fed for rate hikes. Every month, financial gurus, policymakers, and average citizens wait with bated breath for the release of U.S. inflation data. July was no exception, and the revelations provide fodder for a deeper analysis. Let's dive in. A hint of stability amid heightened economic uncertainty. Yes. So we talked about that already. Analyzing the Federal Reserve's response. If we scrutinize the broader picture, it's evident why this sentiment prevails. So, okay, let's look at that. The data's unveiling had immediate repercussions on the market. Futures traders upped their stakes, becoming more optimistic that the Federal Reserve might hold its horses on an interest rate hike in September. Their confidence level is a whopping 91%. If we scrutinize the broader picture, it's evident why this sentiment prevails. The peak inflation rate hit a dizzying 9.1% last summer. Since then, the rate has been descending, trying to cozy up close to the Fed's desired 2% mark. But there's a caveat. Core inflation, that sneaky element, has played hard to get. It's been hovering high, compelling the U.S. Central Bank to maintain elevated interest rates. Interestingly, July's report may just be the sigh of relief the Fed was waiting for. The tempering of core inflation could potentially curtail the urgency to escalate rates this year. That could be good. We're already at the highest Federal Reserve rate in the last 20 years. All right. Robinhood prevails and investors' meme stock appeal. I remember when people were angry they couldn't keep buying shares of, was it Game Marked or something? It's been a while, but yeah, Robinhood had issues with how much money they were allowed to use on one stock. So Robinhood wins against investors in the 11th U.S. Circuit Court regarding meme stock trading restrictions from January 2021. Investors argued restrictions caused them financial losses and stock price downturns. The court found the company's user agreement allowed for such trade limitations. And I remember reading it back then. Yeah, it did. Some things shouldn't have to go to court for people to understand. The contemporary stock trading landscape, studded with numerous online platforms, saw Robinhood standing tall, pushing back against dissatisfied investors. In an intense battle that weaved its way to the 11th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Atlanta, Robinhood emerged victorious against the appeal that held it responsible for stymieing the trading of 13 coveted meme stocks during January 2021. It was GameStop that I was thinking of. The heat of the meme stock craze, influenced heavily by social media, saw stocks such as AMC Entertainment, the past iteration of Bed Bath & Beyond, and the iconic GameStop enjoying a meteoric rise. But for many eager traders, their dreams of adding these stocks to their portfolio were quashed, as Robinhood's system restricted further purchases. This limitation infuriated many of Robinhood's users, who believed that these restrictions not only prevented them from capitalizing on potential profits, but also led to a downturn in the stock prices they already held. The uproar, while substantial in the public sphere, found little support in the courts. Delving into the company's comprehensive customer agreement, the court discerned that Robinhood, in essence, had the prerogative to enforce such trading limitations. Not only did the agreement secure Robinhood's right to impose such restrictions, but it also established that the platform wasn't bound to greenlight all trading orders. The disgruntled investors further contended that Robinhood had been neglectful, leaving them in a vulnerable position which resulted in monetary losses. Moreover, they argued that Robinhood's touted mission-critical systems exhibited a disappointing performance during this peak trading frenzy, yet these claims didn't hold water in the courtroom. While Robinhood might have faced fierce criticism from sections of the public, in the eyes of the law it was deemed accountable only for its specific legal obligations. Yes. This was not surprising to me at all that Robinhood would win a court case like that. I totally forgot that court case was happening. Let's see. Hi, Molasel, how are you doing? Hi, Zeb Kudi, and Trading UA 2023. How's it going? See a lot of links for airdrops. I wouldn't click on links from people I don't know. They could be ways to try to steal money from you, actually, and turn that around. I read a lot of scam news, so like I see a lot of issues with what's going on around the world with different scams and how they're going. So Argentina opens investigation into WorldCoin amid the growing regulatory scrutiny. It's another country after, let's see, Nigeria, Argentina. There are 5 or 6 countries, Germany, France. They're looking into WorldCoin, worried about user privacy, which I think WorldCoin getting your private information is kind of the goal, but Hi, Binance user C9903 and BB6AC and Anonymous Sergey 2503. I love how your name is Anonymous and then like a first name after that. I don't know if that's actually your first name, but if it is, you're not that anonymous if your first name is in the name. That's great. I like the contrast there. That's fun. Nice. All right, so global crypto regulation takes a different turn in the second quarter of 2023. So is this an article that puts all of the different kind of modular things together? While the technologies underlying blockchain, crypto, and tokenization continue to evolve rapidly, the regulatory frameworks of different nations continue to evolve. The SEC crypto regulation, dubbed Chalkpoint 2.0, has caused legitimate digital asset players to move offshore. Investors see BTC ETFs filing by BlackRock and the PayPal stablecoin to be a regulatory turning point for crypto in the US. Crypto market regulators point out that regulatory clarity for digital assets is no longer a luxury but a necessity. Yes, and we've seen politicians asking for clarity and regulation, which has been a kind of a breath of fresh air, to be honest. Japan's acceptance of digital assets as a payment method in 2016 was a significant factor in the 2016-2017 bull market. Significantly, a series of interpretive letters from the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, the primary U.S. bank regulator that gave financial institutions confidence to engage with digital assets in 2020, was an undeniable catalyst for the 2021 surge. Interesting. The value of crypto has grown to the point where regulatory clarity is critical for the next potential bull market, and the dynamics are becoming more complex as the stakes rise. The casual observer may be surprised by the sheer number of regions around the world attempting to attract DeFi businesses and innovators by offering clear and understandable regulations. However, when you comprehend that this is a trillion USD dollar industry, regulatory clarity begins to make sense. In June, Hong Kong's Securities and Futures Commission began accepting applications for licenses to operate crypto trading platforms. June also saw the introduction of a stablecoin backed by the US dollar, although retail access is presently restricted. Japan, perhaps encouraged by its stringent regulatory regime that protected customers even during the FTX collapse, published a Web3 white paper in April to create a friendlier environment for digital assets and reversed its position on taxing unrealized capital gains in June. After 3 years of deliberation among European policymakers, the world's third largest economy eventually published the markets in crypto assets law in its official register last June, with the majority of provisions coming into effect by the end of 2024. The British Upper House recently passed a bill to regulate digital assets and stablecoins, which will now be considered by the Lower House. Large crypto venture capital firm A16Z chose London for its first office due to the city's crypto-friendly posture. On the other hand, it is difficult to deny that the United States lags behind other financial jurisdictions in providing industry-desired regulatory clarity. Absolutely true. When you see the director of the SEC in front of Congress saying that its regulations are clear, and then not being able to answer a single question from members of Congress about it, it just shows how unclear it has been. Due to what many believed to be a coordinated effort, the industry dubbed Operation Choke Point 2.0, the lack of U.S. banking access was a significant impediment to the operations of DeFi firms earlier this year. Beyond the welcome pursuit of bad actors, the SEC's engagement with the crypto industry has created pervasive uncertainty around applicable crypto regulation, causing legitimate players to move offshore. Because the SEC isn't just going after bad actors, they're going after like all crypto companies they can find. So mid-June's BlackRock Spot BTC ETF filing marked the beginning of the most compelling series of such filings to date. So indications that the tide is turning in the US. The SEC has also signaled its willingness to permit futures-based ETH ETFs. And we've even seen some companies trying to make BTC and ETH ETFs, like mixed ETFs. That's interesting. Hi Binance user 15D5F and anonymous user BB6AC and Binance user 3FAD6 and SBD731. Hi, hello, and hi to all of you. How are you doing? Welcome to the show. Nice to have you with us. Let's see, weekly crypto price analysis. Let's see if this goes in sync with what I was talking about yesterday evening. Weekly crypto price analysis reveals major coins have been trading in mixed reaction for the past week. We saw that with them going up one day, down the next day, up during the show, and down during the show. Just a lot of volatility. For sure. Bitcoin has been trading below $30,000 for most of the days in the last 7 days. Ethereum has been trading around $1,800 with a sideways movement. Yep, they're all moving on the trade scale like crabs right now, up and down a little bit, but mostly just staying stable. Weekly crypto price analysis for the 11th of August 2023 reveals that most of the cryptocurrencies have been trading in mixed signals with bullish and bearish trends visible in individual crypto coins. The top coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP have been the most volatile in the past few days, with selling and buying activities occurring in a wide range. Bitcoin has been on a downward trend for most of the days in the week, with price levels dropping below $30,000. ETH continues to observe a strong battle between bulls and bears. ETH has been trading in the range of $1,830 to $1,880 since the last week, after failing to rally above $1,900. Ripple's XRP price analysis has been struggling to stay above the 65-cent mark, but it seems that the coin is slowly finding its footing. The BNB price analysis has been mostly positive in the last 7 days with a few corrections. BNB has been trading in the range of $240 to $247 during the past days of the week. Dogecoin has been trading in a sideways movement over the week with small price fluctuations happening from time to time. Dogecoin's price broke above 7.600 cents after a bullish momentum has been observed in the past few days. Finally, Solana continues to be one of the most bullish coins this week. Price analysis reveals that Sol has been trading mostly above $24 for them for most of the days of the week, with a weekly surge of 7%. So that's it's been an interesting week. Not like a huge change, but there's some minute things going on that are quite interesting. Bittrex slapped with jaw-dropping $24 million fine by SEC. The SEC, in an official announcement on August 10th, stated that both Bittrex and Bittrex Global, its associated entity, have consented to a substantial settlement totaling $24 million to resolve the legal dispute with the federal regulatory body. The SEC has accused the platform of collaborating with token issuers over an extended period with the intention of removing any indications that the tokens they offered could be classified as investment contracts. The formal complaint lodged by the SEC back in April put forward allegations that Bittrex, under the leadership of Shihara, effectively ran an unregistered national securities exchange. Gosh. Yep, William Shihara. For years, Bittrex worked with token issuers to scrub their online statements of any indicia that they were investment contracts, all in an effort to evade the federal securities laws. They failed. Today's settlement makes clear that you cannot escape liability by simply changing labels or altering descriptions, because what matters are the economic realities of those offerings. So they're saying it's not the wording, it's what it actually is that matters. That's from the SEC. Aave token holders vote on proposals to reshape exposure to CRV. Which way are they voting? The Aave community is currently taking active measures to mitigate its protocol's exposure to the Curve DAO token, CRV, with two distinct proposals up for voting. The crux of the situation revolves around Igorov, who had utilized a substantial portion of CRV's overall market capitalization, equivalent to over 30%, as collateral to secure loans amounting to nearly $60 million via Aave2, or Aave V2. The Aave community is currently taking active measures to mitigate its protocol's exposure. Curve DAO token, often referred to as CRV, stands as the proprietary token for the decentralized finance protocol known as Curve Finance. Let's see. Within this context, Aave token holders have been given the authority to partake in voting on two specific proposals, a window that remains open until August the 12th, so tomorrow. The first proposal aims to slash the liquidation threshold for CRV on Aave V2 by 6%, potentially subjecting user accounts to liquidation under specific conditions. The second proposal, on the other hand, advocates for the cessation of CRV borrowing on both Ethereum and Polygon V3, effectively disallowing the use of Aave's platform to engage in shorting CRV. Interesting. At the time of writing, the votes cast for these proposals have exceeded 571,000, with an overwhelming 100% of the token holders voicing their support for measures to limit Aave's exposure to CRV. So they're protecting themselves against the fallout. In addition to the aforementioned proposals, a third one is also being subjected to a community vote, concluding on August 11th. Initiated by Aave-chan founder Mark Zeller, this proposal proposes that Aave Treasury allocate $2 million for the purchase of CRV tokens directly from Curve. Zeller contends that such an action would serve as a signal of the broader DeFi community's commitment to the ecosystem's health. At the time of writing, the voting data reflects 62.91% of participants favoring the proposed purchase, while 37.09% holding opposing views. So they're trying to help them out. How the US curbs on Chinese investment affects the EU. We haven't talked about that. We've been talking about the Chinese-US trade war a lot, but we haven't talked about this. Hello, Pranab007, Kiko67, Binance user E309D, and hi Two-Face. Nice to have you with us. The US restricts investments in China's high-tech sectors, citing security risks. The EU takes a more cautious approach, emphasizing its deeper economic ties with China. The EU aims to draft its own guidelines by year's end, concerns rise over China's dominance in essential tech and supply chains. So I know the Netherlands in Europe also make important semiconductors or high-end semiconductors, and they're on board with the U.S., Japan, South Korea, and Taiwan when it comes to not selling those to China, from what I could tell in recent news elsewhere. President Joe Biden's executive order to curb American investment into China's forefront technological arenas, quantum computing, advanced chips, and artificial intelligence, cited significant national security risks. These U.S. actions, urging allies to mirror their steps, prompted an EU response that showcased Europe's nuanced relationship with China and its intent to draft its own set of guidelines. The European Commission made it clear they're maintaining close contact with the U.S. but are not going to be pressured into immediate replication of its decisions. Basically, they're going to be slow, obtuse, bureaucratic, and, did I say slow? They're just going to be slow. That's what the EU does. So the European Commission made it clear they're maintaining close contact with the U.S. but are not going to be pressured into immediate replication of its decisions. So once they go through the process themselves, it's like that friend that doesn't compute things as fast as you do, that you explain things to 5 times before they come to the same conclusion that you did an hour ago. But they just have to think it over and look at it through like different ways before they come to the exact same conclusion. That's the EU on this, just like it's the EU on their support for Ukraine and the EU on a whole bunch of other things. They've been very slow. But the U.S. also takes some things from the EU slowly, so it's kind of anything that goes from one side of the Atlantic to the other kind of takes time. Why is the European Commission doing this? Because Europe's economic dance with China is more intricate. Nations like Germany and France have expressed concerns about the drive to limit investments, emphasizing that their economic bonds with China are more profound than America's. That's exaggerated, but okay. In June, the Commission outlined the EU's concerns about specific technologies potentially bolstering military and intelligence capabilities that could disturb global peace. The underlying sentiment is clear. Europe is wary of outright bans, fearing they could destabilize its financial markets. There's a need to strike a balance between safeguarding international peace and ensuring economic stability. So they say. But if you don't have international peace, it's hard to have economic stability. Like, you can have internal economic stability without international peace, but you can't have international economic stability without international peace. Which is why the kind of the American world order, where the U.S. patrols the sea lanes to make sure trade is safe for everyone, has been important for this whole system to work. It's not just about preventing advancements that could be weaponized. Europe's hesitancy also stems from its distinct economic landscape. Unlike the U.S. with its venture capital-rich environment, the EU has to consider its unique challenges, requiring an investment strategy tailored to its specific needs. These discussions about trade controls come amidst rising global concerns about China's access to vital technologies in defense and digital sectors, and the Asian giants' dominance in essential supply chains. Yet the EU, along with the UK, leans toward a policy of de-risking rather than stringent curbs. It's a tightrope act of safeguarding national interests while ensuring economic prosperity. And they're not doing a very good job at either. France and Germany, I can say that as a French citizen. France has shot itself in the foot when it comes to national security over and over for the last 20 years, and shot itself in the foot concerning economic prosperity over and over. Basically, every chance a French government has had to hurt themselves and the country when it comes to economics and defense, they've done it. So France is less safe than it was 10 years ago, and less prosperous than it was 10 years ago. If you look at buying power, for example, and if you look at how safe it is just to go out in the street, much less safe. It's crazy. There's some regions where that's not the case. Like there's some economic stability and there's some security, but those are outliers, like Alsace, Brittany, and a few places like that. So just heads up on some strange things in France. All right. Germany is also having issues, like insane issues with not getting the Russian gas they were getting for the automobile manufacturing processes they were using that for. Barry Silbert's DCG wants Gemini lawsuit dismissed. Digital Currency Group. Gemini Trust is in a legal conflict with Digital Currency Group and Barry Silbert. The dispute revolves around Genesis Global Holdco, DDG's lending unit, freezing withdrawals impacting Gemini's customers. DCG defends by asserting they had no role in the Gemini Earn program and argues that Gemini hasn't properly backed their fraud claims. So their accusations shouldn't hold any water in court. We'll see how this goes between the two. We'll find out if it's thrown out or not soon. Bitcoin is CPI resistant with a slight drop to around $29,500. Bitcoin seems unaffected by the latest CPI data, which showed a modest amount of CPI growth that was in line with what economists predicted. Aside from macroeconomic factors, analysts continue to debate why Bitcoin won't budge above $30,000. The U.S. headline CPI released by the Labor Department on Thursday gains 0.2% in July, raising the inflation indicator to 3.2%. Bitcoin and Ether open unchanged in Asia, undoubtedly unaffected by the latest consumer price index data. Okay, we'll see what happens. July 2023's CPI data affects TradeFi and DeFi markets on even ground. Yep, they're both reacting the same way. It's interesting. That's not always the case, but it's been the case this time around. Gemini expands its horizons, welcomes XRP Ledger to its platform. That's because of the XRP court decision that's now going to be appealed. We'll see how that goes. Canada's CBDC is struggling and incentives won't work on Canadians. Bank of Canada research paper discovers that most consumers would have weak incentives to use a CBDC, as Canadians don't face meaningful barriers to financial services like bank accounts or debit and credit cards. That's not why, but I'll get into that in a second. The paper states that 98% of Canadian adults have a bank account, 87% have a credit card, and 90% of rural and urban households have access to high-quality internet. Market analysts have proposed non-CBDC related strategies that could be more effective in assisting the unbanked in Canada. Yes. Okay. Are they going to say why? This was probably... Who released this? Oh, the Bank of Canada released this, so they're not going to say the reason why it's not going to... Canada still prefers cash. Yes, of course they do. Situations. So the paper also emphasized the importance of cash in Canada, noting that without cash, there would be no offline payment methods available in emergency situations such as severe weather or extensive power outages. There's still, no. So the main reason why so many Canadians wouldn't want to use a central bank digital currency is that when the truckers rioted against the Trudeau government for what they were forcing on the country as far as lockdowns for COVID, the government decided to basically use martial law to block the bank accounts and the crypto wallets of anyone involved in the trucker, not riots, but the trucker, what's it called? Assemblies around the Ottawa governmental offices, where they would honk horns, have barbecues, and I guess because they're Canadian, say sorry all the time. But basically, the government in Canada showed, and especially this government with this prime minister, have showed that they have no qualms whatsoever blocking the capacity of Canadians to use their own money to buy and sell whatever they want to do or support groups that legally exist within the country for political motives. So, for example, if you were, so the government right now in Canada is a liberal government. If you are a conservative, a member of the Conservative Party in Canada, and you have a CBDC wallet, what keeps the crazy people in charge from suddenly deciding that you're a threat to democracy and society and blocking your account because you disagreed with one of their policies? Suddenly you can't buy food, you can't pay for rent, you can't pay for bills. This is the real reason why Canadians don't want a CBDC. And I look forward to see the results of the next elections. There's just no trust in the current Canadian government. And I don't see how there could be. You can't backtrack that kind of crazy decision making. It's just not possible. So that's the real reason why Canadians don't want a CBDC. So, Coinbase Ventures makes strategic move with investment in Rocket Pool. Coinbase Ventures announces a strategic investment in Rocket Pool, emphasizing the importance of decentralized Ethereum staking. Following the investment, Rocket Pool's RPL token sees an 8% price surge, with market speculations of it nearing the $40 mark. Nice. We have seen some. We have seen RPL in the last few days as one of the highest surging coins on CoinMarketCap. Just another thing about Canada, real quick. The number one cause of death last year, I believe, was what do you call it? Euthanasia. So it wasn't natural causes, it wasn't disease, it was people being killed medically. And they've been doing it to people against their will if they end up in the hospital too often. And so a nurse decides that their health isn't good enough and they're just a waste of time and they should die, basically. So we have this issue in Canada as well. It's been happening. I'm not a Canadian citizen, but I've met a lot of Canadians in the last few years. Some even involved directly with court cases with this sort of thing. It's pretty crazy. Like this shouldn't even exist. And they were trying to pass a law where underage people or minors, kids, could ask to be euthanized without the medical professional telling the parents or getting their point of view. So a kid who's got hormones going all over the place and trying to figure out who they are and everything could go into a doctor and ask them to kill them, and they would, without telling the parents to, or having any way to stop this kid, basically. So this is the kind of legislation and the kind of power that the government in Canada is using over people. It's very, very dystopian. Circle boasts $1 billion reserve amidst rising competition from PayPal and traditional finance. Circle's USDC stablecoin circulation dropped from $45 billion to $26 billion in 2023, prompting a $1 billion reserve to counteract market challenges. Despite market fluctuations, Circle continues to innovate, launching a wallet as a service API as part of its Web3 initiatives. We did see, was it USDC or USDT that depegged? We've seen a lot of news about both in the last few days. So, Binance delists ADA and Matic perpetual contracts amid regulatory shifts. So Cardano and Polygon, and this is for the US, I believe. The move is tied to regulatory actions related to the SEC's classification of ADA and MATIC as securities. Binance will conclude positions for ADA BUSD and MATIC BUSD on August the 17th at 9 UTC. Is this the international? This isn't Binance.us. No, it's not. This is just Binance. Wow. That's crazy. Crypto gaming sector hits record $297 million in investments in July. Got some stuff being built. The crypto gaming industry attracted a massive record $297 million investment in July. Fluctuations and the growing momentum in the crypto gaming sector. So what do we have? This is by DappRadar and the Blockchain Game Alliance. Let's see. Investors are banking on tools and platforms that will facilitate the emergence of future crypto and NFT-driven games. July's investment surge stands in stark contrast to June, which witnessed a comparably modest $68 million injected into the crypto gaming space. That's like a third. That's less than a third of what's been invested now. It's almost a fifth. That's crazy. Just a month later, it's 5 times more. Experts like Carlos Pereira, a partner at Bitcraft Ventures, caution against reading too much into the monthly fluctuations. Pereira suggests that variations in investment levels might simply be a consequence of sample size and timing, with several major deals possibly spanning both months. The trend of hefty investments in the crypto gaming realm is reinforced by the fact that the sector received over $400 million in funding for each of the preceding 3 months, March through May 2023. Insights gleaned from month-to-month analysis are often tenuous, especially as many funding deals remain unannounced or face delays in public disclosure. Alek Vasudev, co-founder of VC firm Standard Crypto, explains that the gaming landscape is complex given the extended development timelines of games. Despite this, Vasudev highlights gaming as a prime use case for crypto, anticipating a continued uptick in investments within the sector. Cool. Post Malone raises concerns over CBDC on the Joe Rogan podcasts. Exploring all the debates behind the adoption of CBDC. In a conversation on the widely followed Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Joe Rogan and rapper Post Malone delved into their apprehensions about the potential societal risks posed by CBDCs. When asked about the possibility of a U.S. CBDC, Rogan responded vehemently, expressing his belief that it would lead to dire consequences. He stated, "No way, I think that's checkmate, that's game over," a sentiment echoed by Post Malone. I'm actually hearing this from a lot of young Americans that usually aren't interested in economics. Their conversation took a dystopian turn as Rogan highlighted the potential dangers of a social credit score system, which could be exploited to monitor and control individuals' behavior. Rogan's concerns extended to the possibility of government control over people's finances, emphasizing that authorities might seek to strip individuals of their money to ensure compliance. The fear of the government arbitrarily seizing funds was presented as a driving force behind compliance, leaving individuals feeling powerless and lacking recourse. Notably absent from the dialogue were references to Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies. Nonetheless, their discussion resonated positively within the crypto industry, where leaders and figures largely share concerns about CBDC's potential adverse impacts. Yeah, no kidding. 2 U.S. presidential hopefuls, Ron DeSantis and Robert Kennedy Jr., have contributed to the discussion from opposing viewpoints. Kennedy has labeled CBDCs as instruments of control, while DeSantis has accused President Joe Biden of waging a war on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. He's also said he would sign a law banning the creation of a CBDC in the United States. Caitlin Long, CEO of Custodia Bank, who has been engaged in discussions with the government, aligned her perspective with Joe Rogan and Post Malone's views. She emphasized that CBDCs could signify the erosion of privacy and property rights and financial assets, highlighting the potential dangers of a government-controlled digital currency. Sam Callahan, a Bitcoin analyst at Swan, a financial services company, welcomed the conversation as a positive step. Callahan pointed out that having influential figures like Post Malone address these concerns on a prominent podcast reflects the increasing integration of these topics into the mainstream consciousness. Hello, Radom user B28F9 and SBD 731, Saranga user 0528 and AAS 6174 and Binance user 64099. Nice to have you with us. So we're going through the news, end of the week news. We just saw a post about CBDCs and how Post Malone on Joe Rogan's podcasts said they didn't like CBDCs. Binance Labs invests $10 million in Helio protocol. That's the second time we've seen Binance Labs invest quite a bit of money into something today on this show. That might be a good sign. Helio protocol to make a strategic transition to liquidity staking. Interesting. So the move to invest the $10 million is aimed at supporting Helio's transition into a liquid staking platform. While currently operating on the proof of stake network BNB chain, this funding will enable Helio to extend its presence to other blockchain networks. The platform's ambitions include launching on Ethereum, along with notable Layer 2 networks like Arbitrum and ZK Sync, as confirmed by Binance Labs representative. That's really cool. Hopefully that goes well. Libitcoin Explorers version 3.x faces severe security breach, users' funds endangered. Slow Mist warns of a critical vulnerability in Libitcoin Explorer 3.x, jeopardizing crypto wallets. The vulnerability is traced to flawed pseudo-random number generator implementation. Users who use Libitcoin Explorer 3.x for wallet seed generation are at risk of private key exposure. That's not good. This vulnerability has raised concerns about the security of various cryptocurrency wallets and reportedly resulted in an approximate loss of $900,000, as reported by Milksad. Interestingly, this blog post draws intriguing parallels to past susceptibilities uncovered in Trust Wallet. It has to do with the pseudo-random number generator. By employing the Mersenne Twister technique and 32 bytes of the system's time as a seed, PRNGs become susceptible to potential breaches that could compromise users' private keys. That's not good. That's not good at all. Are they doing anything about it? So they wow. Okay. Interestingly, some have pointed out that the security flaw in Libitcoin Explorer was seemingly identified on the project's GitHub page around 6 years ago. However, apparent efforts have yet to be made to rectify the issue. This development raises significant questions regarding the security of popular blockchain tools and apparent delays in addressing potentially devastating vulnerabilities. Consequently, users and stakeholders are left to ponder the effectiveness of security measures employed by such widely used platforms. Coinbase's Layer 2 solution Base gains massive traction with 136,000 daily users. Congrats to the team at Base. Well done. Boya Interactive ventures into cryptocurrencies with $5 million investment budget. Hong Kong-based Boya Interactive International Limited, a prominent player in the e-gaming sector, has unveiled a pioneering move by allocating a substantial $5 million budget for cryptocurrency investments. The company's board of directors endorsed this strategic decision, aiming to harness the transformative potential of the burgeoning Web3 industry. The announcement comes as Boya Interactive celebrates its successful trajectory as a trailblazer in chess, cards, and puzzles since its inception in 2004. With an established reputation as a premier producer and provider of e-games, the company now seeks to diversify its portfolio by venturing into cryptocurrencies. The firm clarified that its immediate focus for the upcoming year would be primarily procuring Bitcoin and Ether, both renowned cryptocurrencies, from authorized trading platforms. All right, if you're going to start somewhere, that kind of makes sense. All right, so let's see if there's any updates. All right, let's go look at CoinMarketCap and see what's going on. Let's see if Ethereum and Bitcoin are past their. Nope. Bitcoin is at $29,481.03 right now. It's up 0.21% over the last hour. Down 0.26% in the last 24 hours, up 0.89% in the last 7 days. The fear and greed index on CoinMarketCap right now is 51. That's quite neutral. It's barely better than extremely neutral. Ethereum is at $1,852.37. Of course, it changes while I read it every time. It's also up 0.21% in the last hour, down 0.20% in the last 24 hours, and up 0.51% in the last 7 days. Hi, Binance user 9FFCD and Bubba Simca user 505BA. Nice to have you with us. That's a lot of flowers in chat. Hi, Felix Files. Nice to have you with us. Let's see. USDT is really close to $1. USDC is exactly at $1 right now. XRP is at 63 cents. Not much has changed there since yesterday. BNB is at $240.85. Dogecoin at 7 cents. 7.5 cents. Just a little smidgen above 7.5 cents. Cardano at 29 cents. Solana at $24.67, still going up. It's gone up 5.69% in the last 7 days. Tron is at 7 cents, almost 8 cents. Polygon is at 68 cents. Litecoin is at $83.43. Polkadot is at exactly at $5. Still at $5. It changed from green to red to green to black, but still $5. There's some trading going on, but it's staying at $5 right now. Shiba Inu up 17.4%. Okay, 17.39% over the last 7 days. It's been a really good week for Shiba Inu holders, and yeah, that's interesting. DAI is just under $1 right now, as it should be. It should be slightly. There we go. It's at $1. Somebody must be watching the show from their team. Decided to make sure it was pegged for a second there. Toncoin $1.27. Avalanche $12.52. Let's see. Since it's Friday, let's see who's been doing the best since last Friday. Shiba Inu, 17.38% up. Thorchain, so Rune on Thorchain, 16.68% up. DYDX, 10.13% up. Mina, 7.28% up. Let's see, so Rune is at $1.09. DYDX is at $2.16. Mina is at 46 cents. OKB up 7.36% over the last week, reaching $47.84. Hedera's H-bar, 7% up, 5 cents is the value today. Toncoin at $1.27, up 6.62% since last week. Basic attention token, so BAT, up 5.75% over the last week, 22 cents right now. We talked about Solana already. Let's see, Chainlink up 5.26% to $7.55. Synthetics up 5.26% to 2.57%. And just now we finally get to those under 5%. That's quite a few coins that went up over 5% in the last week. We have Algorand up 4.94% to 11 cents. Axie Infinity up 4.52% to $6.03. Dash is up 4.21% to $32.67. Aptos is up 4% over the last week to $7.10. And then we dropped from 4% to 2.64% for Pepe and 2.52% for Phantom, which is at 24 cents right now. And 2.44% for ApeCoin, which is at $1.87. Let's see who the biggest losers were in the last 7 days. XDC by the XDC network down 13.82%, down to 6 cents of a dollar. GMX down 13.51% to $44.93. Mantle down 10% to 46 cents. Optimism down 7.68% to $1.60. Arweave AR down 7.45% to $4.93. Casper down 6.94% to 3 cents. Injective down 5.26% to $7.74. Maker down 5.07% to $1,249.37. Immutable down 4.60% to 71 cents. XRP down 4.35% to 63 cents. Render down 3.52% to $1.69. Conflux also down 3.47% to 17 cents. Compound dropped 3.33% in a week to $55.45. All right, I'm gonna stop there on those. So we've looked at Bitcoin. Bitcoin's now $29,501.90. Now it's $29,490. And okay, it's changing by 20s and 10s every few seconds. So now it's at $29,483.02. Now it's at $29,491.25. So if you're into trading Bitcoin today might be a good day for you. Let's see what it looks like compared to the last. A lot of. It's generally been going up, it seems, in the last bit here. The last hour? Last 2 hours? That's because of this show. I'm kidding. That's just a coincidence. That's interesting that it's going up to try to reach where it was early in the morning my time. Hi, Ismail Bezi. Nice to have you with us. So this is we've looked at the news. Hello, Al-Kawaja. That's got to be how you pronounce that. Nice to have you with us. So this has been fun. This has been a crazy week with crazy regulations and diplomatic stories. And yesterday we started the show talking about nuclear war killing 99% of the world population. Man, it's been a crazy week. Let's put it that way. Just did not expect most of the things that have been happening here. Yep. Don't hesitate to like and subscribe and share the show with friends that you think might be interested in listening to the news while they're doing something else. I don't know, gardening, cooking, trying to take a nap. I have talked family to sleep before, so maybe that could work. You never know. Could be useful. Help somebody calm down, talking about the world coming to an end and all our money being controlled by governments. I'm just kidding. Hopefully that's not something that calms you down. That'd be a strange way to fall asleep. Oh yes, everything is going awful. Oh yeah, just falls asleep, calm and everything. hopefully that's not how you relax. You have other ways to relax. But thanks for joining. Um, I would love to have more kind of comments in the comment section about what we're talking about, and fewer comments about asking or offering boxes, but that's fine. That's part of the platform as well. Let's see. Next week, I also don't know if we're having an interview. We might, but I believe we were supposed to have one last week, and that didn't happen. But yeah, we'll try to get things going. Also, have our first what do you call it? Our first sponsor. Talk about that next week for the show. That'll be cool. I believe we'll talk about that next week. Yeah, just a lot going on. Also, don't hesitate to check out Cryptopolitan on Twitter, Facebook. We have a Discord now as well. So, yeah, look us up, jump on there, and get the latest news results through that. That's a great way to do it. All right. Wish you guys a very happy weekend. Great time. Hopefully, nothing crazy happens to the markets or the world economy or political stability or world peace during the weekend, and we can relax. Have a great time. Thank you for watching. Just have a great day. Bye, guys.